Cody Rhodes just destroyed everything. Not in the ring, not in front of a crowd, not under the lights, backstage, in the dark, like a coward or like a man who has been pushed so far past the breaking point that he stopped caring about consequences entirely. And because of what happened, Randy Orton may not make it to WrestleMania. Adam Pearce just went public with this. He didn't want to, you could hear it in every word. But he had to, because this situation has spiraled completely and utterly out of control and WWE can no longer pretend it hasn't. If you think you already know what happened, I promise you don't. Not the full story. Not the part they tried to keep quiet. Not the part that changes everything about what we thought we knew about Cody Rhodes. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to be furious. And you should be. Beat dramatic music kicks in low, tense. Let's go back to the beginning, because context matters here. You cannot understand why this moment is so seismic unless you understand the road that led both of these men to this collision point. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. The man who came back to WWE after years in the wilderness, built himself from the ground up, main event 2 consecutive WrestleManias, and finished the story. He became WWE Champion. He stood on top of the mountain. He was everything he promised his father he would be. And then slowly, quietly, like smoke filling a room, things started to change. The smile got tighter. The promos got darker around the edges. The crowd, as loyal as ever, started to notice something shifting behind those eyes. Cody Rhodes was carrying something he wasn't talking about. And nobody, not the announcers, not the roster, not the fans, fully understood what it was. Until Randy Orton walked back into the picture. Section 1: The build-up. Now let's be clear about Randy Orton, because Randy Orton deserves his own paragraph every single time his name is spoken. This is a 13-time world champion. A man who has headlined more WrestleManias than most people have watched. A man who has been the most dangerous, most unpredictable, most psychologically complex performer in the history of professional wrestling. The Viper. The Legend Killer. A man who once looked at the entire landscape of WWE and decided the rules simply didn't apply to him. Randy Orton came back from injury and he came back hungry. And when Randy Orton is hungry, people get hurt. That's not a metaphor. That's a pattern backed by 20+ years of evidence. The tension between Cody and Randy wasn't manufactured by a creative team. It was real in the way that only the best WWE rivalries are real. Two men who respect each other so much that it curdled into something dangerous. Two men who both believe, in the deepest part of themselves, that they deserve to be the guy. Not one of the guys. The guy. And WrestleMania, as it always does, forced the issue. Section 2: What Adam Pearce said. Adam Pearce stepped in front of the cameras and he looked like a man who had aged 5 years in 48 hours. For those who don't know, Adam Pearce is WWE's on-screen authority figure, the man responsible for keeping order, making matches, and managing the chaos that is a roster full of the most competitive, most volatile athletes on the planet. He has dealt with a lot. He has seen a lot. But what he described, what he confirmed happened backstage, clearly shook him. According to Pearce, the confrontation between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton started as an argument. That much, people had already heard rumors about. Words were exchanged. Voices were raised. Accusations were made that went beyond professional rivalry and into something deeply personal. But it didn't stop at words. Pearce confirmed that Cody Rhodes physically attacked Randy Orton backstage. Not a shove. Not a push in the heat of the moment. An attack. The kind that required medical personnel to be called. The kind that left marks. And here is the part that should make every single one of you absolutely sick with anger. Randy Orton's WrestleMania match is now in jeopardy. The match that fans have been waiting for, building toward, dreaming about. The match that represents one of the single greatest WrestleMania moments waiting to happen, potentially gone. Potentially ripped away before it could breathe. Because of what Cody Rhodes did in the dark, away from cameras, away from referees, away from any accountability. Section 3: The reaction from the locker room. Word travels fast in a wrestling locker room. Faster than social media. Faster than dirt sheets. Because these people live together on the road, they see each other every single week, and when something goes wrong, everybody knows. The reaction backstage, from what we understand, was one of genuine shock. Not because violence doesn't happen in this industry, it does, it always has. But because of who was involved. Cody Rhodes is not a hothead. He's not Randy Orton circa 2004 going legend killer mode on anyone who breathes near him. Cody Rhodes is measured, disciplined, professional to an almost aggravating degree. He's the guy who shakes hands after a promo, who makes sure everyone around him looks good, who represents the absolute best version of a WWE superstar in terms of conduct and character. Or at least, that's who we thought he was. Because what happened backstage doesn't fit that profile. At all. And that's what's so deeply unsettling about all of this. Something pushed Cody Rhodes to a place he has never been before. Something Randy Orton said, or did, or threatened something cracked the American nightmare open, and what came out was not the smiling hero. What came out was something raw and dark and, frankly, terrifying. And if you're a Randy Orton fan right now, you have every right to be absolutely livid. Section 4: What this means for WrestleMania. Let's talk about what's actually at stake here, because this isn't just about two guys not getting along. This is WrestleMania. This is the show. The one night a year where everything matters, where legacies are written, where moments are made that fans carry with them for the rest of their lives. Randy Orton at WrestleMania is not just a match. It's an event. It's a statement. When the RKO hits, and it always hits, eventually, no matter how well you think you've defended against it, the place goes nuclear. Every single time. Doesn't matter the opponent. Doesn't matter the stipulation. Randy Orton at WrestleMania is must-see television, and we have been robbed of that if he can't compete. Robbed. That is the word. Because the fans didn't do anything wrong. The fans showed up, bought the tickets, bought the merch, watched every episode of Raw and SmackDown building to this moment, invested emotionally in this story, and now a backstage incident that had nothing to do with us might be the thing that pulls it all away. If Randy Orton cannot compete at WrestleMania because of injuries sustained in an unprovoked backstage attack, that is one of the most infuriating outcomes this road to WrestleMania has ever produced. And Cody Rhodes needs to answer for it. Publicly. Fully. Without spin. Section 5: The deeper question: who is Cody Rhodes now? Here's the question that nobody wants to ask out loud, but everybody is thinking. Is Cody Rhodes still the babyface? That is not a rhetorical question. That is a genuine, serious examination of character that this situation demands. The American nightmare was built on a foundation of honor, of doing things the right way, of proving that you don't have to tear people down to build yourself up. He literally came back to WWE to finish the story, and the story was about integrity, about family legacy, about being the man his father always believed he could be. Attacking Randy Orton backstage, away from any oversight, injuring him potentially to the point where he misses the biggest show of the year. That is not the Cody Rhodes who finished the story. That is not the man who stood in the ring and talked about Dusty Rhodes with tears in his eyes and meant every word. That is someone else. Someone new. Someone we haven't fully met yet. And maybe that's the most fascinating and frightening development in WWE right now. Not the match itself, but the possibility that in trying so hard to stay on top, in feeling the pressure of Randy Orton breathing down his neck, Cody Rhodes became the very thing he always swore he wouldn't be, the villain of his own story. Section 6: What happens next? Adam Pearce has confirmed that an internal investigation is underway, that WWE takes these situations seriously, and that all parties are being evaluated, medically and professionally. Translation: nobody knows what happens next, and anyone who tells you they do is lying. What we do know is this: Randy Orton is being evaluated. The severity of his condition is not yet fully public. WrestleMania match status uncertain. And Cody Rhodes is facing consequences the likes of which he has never faced in his career. Because here's the thing about crossing a line like this: you don't just walk back across it. You don't just apologize and go back to being the handshake guy with the nice suits and the American dream music. The line is crossed. It exists now. And every person in that locker room, every fan watching at home, every executive and stamper, they've all seen it. This is not a reset moment. This is a defining moment. Whether it defines Cody Rhodes as someone who course-corrected, accepted responsibility, and found a way to make it right, or whether it defines him as the man who let ambition murder his own heroism, that story is still being written. But the clock is ticking. WrestleMania waits for no one. Closing music builds. Here's what I need from you right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you think Cody Rhodes should be stripped of his spot at WrestleMania? Should there be real consequences for what happened? And where do you stand on Randy Orton? Do you think this was a setup? Do you think Orton provoked it intentionally to get inside Cody's head? Because that's a conversation I am desperate to have with this community. Because this situation is messy and complicated, and there are no easy answers, and that is exactly why it has the entire wrestling world talking. If this video fired you up, share it. Send it to every wrestling fan you know. Because this is the story right now. This is the moment. And Ring Rumble 1 is where you come when you want the real breakdown, the real reaction, no fluff, no filler. Like this video if you want to see Randy Orton get his WrestleMania moment. And smash that subscribe button, because this story is far from over. The American nightmare just woke up as something nobody expected. And we will be here for every single second of what comes next. End card: channel logo / subscribe animation. Script 4: Ring Rumble 1. Topic: Adam Pearce. Breaking news: Cody Rhodes attacks Randy Orton backstage.